Yes. Okay. Drama for engagement and belonging is my topic, and it flows on really well from so many of the things that Tori just said. And thank you for that wonderful presentation, Tori. I found it really inspiring and so relevant. Um, okay. So just a little bit about myself. I was originally a secondary school teacher teaching English, not EAL or ESL, but mainstream English, and also drama as a subject. And this was something I really enjoyed, both subjects. But what I really noticed were with my teenage students, the high school students, there were just so many benefits from drama, not just in terms of the subject, learning acting skills and theatre and putting on productions, but in terms of their well-being and their sense of connectedness and their sense of self. They really felt part of something, whether it was just doing the drama in the classroom or being in school plays. And so many students have come back to tell me years later how that impacted their lives and how it gave them confidence to do things they never thought they could do. So when I moved into the adult sector, which for the last 11 years I've been working actually in the adult community sector, my work in the ELICOS sector is very fresh. I'm in my 9th week at Hawthorn, Melbourne. So I'm working across both sectors now, which is just wonderful. But when I started working, particularly with my adult migrant learners who were of varied ages and from so many cultures, I wondered how could I bring these drama techniques and these valuable benefits from drama to these adult learners who were a completely different cohort. When I was teaching in high schools, the drama students were mostly of Australian backgrounds. English was their first language, and they were choosing to learn drama because they wanted to. So I had to try and work out how could I bring these benefits to adult learners in a way that was appropriate. So I couldn't ask them to grab onto each other and roll around on the floor like my teenagers had all been happy to do, and relevant because they've come here to learn a language, not to study drama, and accessible for students who've never even heard of drama as a way of education and have come mostly from very teacher-centred backgrounds. So I did a lot of looking around in Australia for professional development in this area, and when I didn't find anything, I fortunately received a fellowship through the International Specialised Skills Institute and was able to connect with a community of educators, particularly in Europe, and went over and did lots of training and interviewing people and doing some research on how to best use drama and music and all performative elements to bring the classroom to life and to bring these benefits, many of which are mental health benefits. So I'm just going to briefly touch on these. I've written a lot more about the benefits of drama, and I'll give you access to some of my articles at the end. But in terms of mental health benefits, when we do even just simple drama warm-up games, just some really simple activities in the classroom, it brings a sense of laughter and fun. And that's not to be underestimated. When our students laugh and they're laughing together, not at each other, but laughing together in a game or activity, they start to relax and they let their guard down. And it can really reduce anxiety for students and also make them more willing to put themselves out there and take a few risks. Drama can be really bonding and very inclusive because students are allowed to use their whole bodies for learning. So they're getting up from behind their desks. If they can't find the word for it, they can do a gesture and try and find their way around it through their body language, and other students might help them to find the word. So instead of being stuck thinking, I don't know the answer, I can't say anything, they can actually communicate with their whole bodies. It's very engaging, it's interesting, it's visual, so it makes it really memorable learning for the students. And it's empowering. It helps our students find stronger voices, do things they didn't think they could do, and especially because that trust can be built up through lots of gentle games, especially if you start gently and slowly. So I'm not talking about you launching into your classrooms and putting on a big play and asking everyone to get up and memorize lines. It's not what I'm talking about. Very gentle, simple, easily adaptable activities. And that sense of playfulness for adult learners, we all accept playfulness as being really important, learning through play as children. But as adults, there can be a sense of switching that off. We have to leave our bodies outside and just bring our brains into the classroom. But as this was a Canadian study done by Balyasnikova, Higgins and Hume. They said they found with adult migrant learners that engaging in playful sociocentric behaviour through participation in a collaborative dramatic process can be mentally and physically transformational. But it's all very well to talk about the mental health benefits. If we want our students to go with us on this type of approach, they are going to want to know, how is this going to help them to learn a language? It can't just be seen as fluffy fun that has no relevance if they're trying to build up their English levels quite quickly, in the ELICOS sector especially. So they want to know, how is this going to help me? So just a few, there are so many benefits, but it can provide a context for language use and targeted practice of new structures. By connecting the brain and the body, there's a real sense of language retention. So I often do work with just new vocabulary, new verbs. We come up with a gesture to go with it and we repeat it. And then we come back into the classroom. Just last week, we did some phrasal verbs, and there was one about made up, creating an idea. And we came up with the gesture made up, coming from the brain and a creative idea. And the next day, as soon as I did this, they said made up, and they remember the new phrase. So just those simple things can help with language retention. It can build fluency and also help our students to use non-verbal expression. There's an expert in Canada called Dr. Art Babians that I met when I was traveling, who said to me, look, in a way, how can we teach a language without some element of drama? So much of what we do is non-verbal. If it's just sitting behind desks, and we're not using the body, are we really teaching our students to communicate? And this is a quote that I absolutely love from Professor Manfred Schever, who is an expert in this field of performative language teaching, who says that when we learn through drama, we are learning with the head, heart, sorry, there should be a comma there. My apologies to all the English teachers. How did I miss that? The head, heart, not heart, hands, and feet. I'll be fixing that as soon as I get out of here. Okay, so a few tips for how to begin for best practice. One is to change the space. It's really hard to do drama if everyone's sitting in a packed room behind tables and chairs. So if you have tables on wheels or tables that you can be able to be moved to this side of the room, even if you clear half the room and then people come into a circle of chairs, just so that they're out in a different environment, they feel it's different. Or I found a spot at Hawthorn Melbourne, just out in the hallway, tucked away, where nobody is walking past and the students feel comfortable. Also, for both yourself and the students, start slowly, just with a couple of gentle warm-up activities. Don't hit them with all the drama in the world on day one. It's too much for them and they might feel threatened by that. And also, if it's new for you, it's good for you to warm up slowly. Important to participate yourself with enthusiasm. If they can see that you believe in what you're doing and you think this is great, they will more likely follow you. But if you're all apologetic and, oh, I'm not a very good actor, or I'm not good at this, or you just say, all right, you all get up and do this, it's not going to have the same impact as if you put yourself out there and show you're willing to do it. Encourage, but don't enforce participation. It's most likely you'll get a student here or there who will be uncomfortable with this idea or think it's really too strange, or I'm an adult, I don't play. So I don't force students, but I give them other things to do. Look, why don't you watch this and write down a description of what you can see people are doing, or get someone to direct their group into a little scene but not have to act it out, that sort of thing. You can get creative. And most of those students will come around when they see how much fun the others are having. And once they start hearing you elicit the language benefits, which is my next point. With adults, you must make the language benefits explicit. With children, they're happy to just learn through play, but adults need to know, what am I learning here? Some people say to me, I'm not a drama teacher, and that's fine. I'm not talking about teaching drama as a subject. Teaching the language, teaching English, which is what you're already an expert in doing, but teaching it through drama. So just borrowing a few strategies from drama to enliven your class, make it more kinesthetic in the learning, a whole sense of whole body learning, and bring some fun and engagement, and hopefully a sense of belonging. So I'm going to do a little warm-up activity with you now. I might have to cut out some of the things I had planned, but the articles that I will share with you that I've written have got some really clear outlines of some activities you can do as well. So I'm going to ask everyone to stand up, and I know that your cameras are turned off, but I really, really implore you to stand up and have a little stretch wherever you are, if you can. I know for some of you that might be difficult. And this is something that's a really quick energizer. It's not really drama-y, it's just an energizer to get your students out of quiet behind the desk zone and into using their bodies. So we just shake our right arm 8 times. And as we do it, we count out loud to 8. So it's good for example, my students did speaking assessments today, and it got them warming up their voices, energized and laughing, so relaxing. So counting to 8 with the right arm, 8 with the left arm, 8 with the right foot as we shake that, and 8 with the left foot. Then we halve it with 4, 4, 4, 4. Again, halve it, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then a big woo at the end. And it's so great, so much fun. Okay, so together, if you have any mobility issues and need to sit down, that's fine, or you need to hold onto a chair or a wall, or if you can't shake your leg, you can just tap your foot, and always be conscious with students that they might have mobility issues and that there are always other options. I'll say 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to imagine you're all with me, and I hope you are doing this activity. Right, great. I can see you, Deborah, so I'm relying on you. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the right foot. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Woo! All right. And usually when I ask my students after doing that, how do you feel? They automatically come out with happy, relaxed, excited, it's funny, and it changes the mood. It's an instant mood changer. That one is gold. Another little gold tip I've got for you is object transformation. So actually, I'll unshare my screen here so I'll look a little bit bigger. Okay. So we'll do something with a pen or pencil today if everyone's got one, but I will say that I often, in my class, some of my classrooms, I've got a box of scarves or I get students to bring them in. You can even work with just a jacket, whatever's lying around. Scarves can be great for object transformation because a scarf can become, for example, straight away can become a baby, or a scarf could become a telephone. It can become props, it can become costume items. Scarves are great if you've got the resources to have a box of them. But in the absence of that today, we're going to do pencil transformation or pen transformation. And it's just a way of adding to a really small miming an activity, which can lead to endless options for grammar practice or new vocabulary practice. So, for example, this can be anything but a pencil or pen. Okay, so if I start going like this, and you could just go around the circle and ask the question, what's Jody doing? Jody is brushing her hair. So if you're practicing present continuous, that's just a nice, simple activity. If you're doing vocabulary in the kitchen, instead of what is Jody doing, we might point to the pencil and say, what is this? A knife. And you might make a list of vocabulary. So it can be really nice just for language practice. Can everyone take their pencil or pen, if you've got one? I'm assuming you've got one. And just think of something you did around the house this morning or last night. Could be watching TV, could be something cleaning, could be getting ready for work. And I want you in as much detail as possible to mime that out, transforming the pencil into something that is not a pencil. So don't do write in your diary, anything but a pencil. So think of something you did this morning or last night and just mime that out with the pencil. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you to my volunteers who have got their cameras on. Absolutely brilliant. All right. Fantastic. So you can use that in many ways, and you can bring in any kind of tense, and someone can say, what are you doing? And they answer. Or in the next one, we're going to use the drama principle of don't tell me, show me. And I used to use this phrase. It was a common phrase with drama teachers when I was a drama high school teacher. So can I ask all the people who've got the ability to have their cameras on to please be my volunteers? If I could have 3 or 4 people with putting on your microphones for this one, because I want to demonstrate a really lovely alternative to a standard name game. So I've got Deborah, Tori, Sophie, Trish. Are you able to all put your microphones on, please, for this one?
Sure.
Yes. Let's imagine we're in a circle. Because we're a small group, this will be easy. But if everyone has a number, so if I'm number 1, Deborah, if you could be 2, Trish, you could be 3, and Tori 4, and Sophie, can you be 5? So we'll just go in that order. Just imagine we're sitting in a circle. Okay, so this is an introduction game. I'll just quickly show you the slide for a moment for this one. Okay, so for this one, we use this structure and you could write this on the board. So the first person introduces themselves. I'm Jody and I enjoy, and then they mime the activity, but they don't say what it is and everyone has to guess. The next person in the circle then gestures to them and says, this is Jody and she enjoys fishing, for example. Or if it's someone who uses they as a pronoun, it could be this is this person and they enjoy fishing. And then they then add, I'm Sophie, for example, and I enjoy, and then Sophie would mime the activity. So when it's your activity, you don't tell, you show. Everyone has to guess. So this is using introductory skills. It's using third person S. It's telling little things about ourselves while showing them, learning about each other, and simply learning names, which is so important for our sense of belonging and well-being. People know who we are and they know at least one thing about us, something that we enjoy. Okay, so I will start and then Deborah will introduce me and tell us something about herself without telling us. Okay, so hi, I'm Jody and I enjoy okay, so what am I doing?
Playing guitar.
Playing guitar. Good.
Singing?
Okay. And singing, both. Okay, great. So now, Deborah, if you could, with a gesture towards me, imagine we're in a circle, say, this is Jody.
This is Jody. And she enjoys playing guitar and singing.
Right. And now you say, I'm Deborah.
And I'm Deborah. And I enjoy. I think someone can relate to this.
Yes.
Swimming.
Excellent. All right, great. So I think, Trish, you were next.
I'm up next. Do I just do Deb or both of you?
Yeah, you don't have to
Okay.
go back. Just the person for you. Thanks.
This is Deb and she enjoys swimming. And I'm Trish and I enjoy
Eating.
We all like
Excellent.
that.
Eating. And remember, you can use the pencil too to help you to become something. And something else I should mention about objects, having an object in our hand, it can be a really good thing for reducing anxiety as well, because people are focusing on what you're holding, not just on your face as well. So students find that gives them a bit of an extra layer of protection to have something to hold on to, I find. Great. Thanks so much, Trish. All right. So I think it was Tori next.
I think I was number 4.
Yes.
And I only remember because I did that because it made me remember.
So we had Jody, Deborah, Trish, and now you.
Oh, I
Yep,
can't count. That's great. This is Trish and she likes eating. I'm Tori and I enjoy
Sleeping. Excellent. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Sophie.
So this is Tori and she likes sleeping, and I'm Sophie and I enjoy
playing piano.
Piano.
Oh,
This is Sophie and she enjoys playing the piano. Beautiful. So you can see there's a lot going on here, both in terms of language, but also in terms of connectedness, getting to know each other, and it being quite non-threatening. With these little miming activities, for this one, most people can think of something because they're thinking of something they enjoy. But if you're doing other miming activities with objects, you can also put a little pile of cards in the middle. They can walk into the middle and turn one over, walking the dog if they need an idea, so that they're not panicking about what if I can't think of something. I did have one more activity I was going to do. We're a little bit short on time, but I might just quickly describe it and then I will guide you to one of my articles to read how to do it. It's a really lovely one too for helping students feel validated, and it's called Yes and it's a really common game in drama because it's the cornerstone of what we call drama improvisation when you're working without a script. And that it's a really validating activity to do. So for example, say you're doing something about holidays is your topic. You could get 2 people working together, but get all the pairs working at the same time, not up in front of the class on their own performing. And they have to be in a partnership planning a perfect holiday. And whatever the first person says, so for example, let's go on a camping trip to the mountains. And the next person has to say, yes, and then they add the next idea. And of course, you could brainstorm for the language of suggestions first. For example, we could, maybe we should, why don't we, those kinds of things. And so the next person says, yes, and we can sleep outside in our sleeping bags. Yes, and we'll go for a big walk to the top of the mountain and have a picnic. Yes, and it's a beautiful game because nobody's idea gets crushed down. The rule is it has to be accepted and then built upon. So you offer an idea, someone accepts, and then they build. So if you want to read more about that, I'm about to give you some links to some articles I've written that might be helpful. Exactly, like theatre sports, no blocking. That's exactly right. Accept the offer, don't block it, and then build on it. And I've written more detail about that, but I just thought I'd mention it really quickly. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. I can see lots of comments and questions, so I'll try to whiz through this. That's just an example. You'll get access to these slides. It has the example of how you could do yes and. Just a few quotes from my own students about using drama. One says, it helped me a lot not to feel shame to speak badly. When I come in this class, another student said, in this class, these new words come automatically. I can remember easy and not shy to use that. And this one I just love. This student said to me, since we started doing the drama, all my feelings of isolation have, and then she couldn't think of the word in English, and she sort of, I don't know if you can still see me, but she went like this with her hands and said, what do you call it when you just put something into water and it just, and I said, dissolved. And she said, yes, all my feelings of isolation have dissolved. And I love that she could actually use drama, the gestures, to express that, as well as the fact that that was her feeling about it. So if you want to just take a screenshot, they're the activities we did. We didn't do body writing because I was a bit shorter on time than I thought. We did the shakeout, we did object transformation, making introductions, and yes and. And I've just got a few. We'll come back to those reflection points in a minute. They're my references. If you would like to read more and dive a bit deeper, this is very tip of the iceberg, what I've done with you today. But if you scan that QR code or go to my website, The Language Scene, that will take you directly to my publications page, which has some more detailed ideas and games described and things and other activities. And here are a few books that are really good as a starting point if you want to screenshot that for using drama in language learning, and some drama games, some websites as well. This bottom one is a Facebook group that I run, Drama and Additional Language Learning Australia, for sharing ideas. Drama Resource is a really good one for just watching videos of drama games that are easy to use. So if you've got any further questions, I've looked like I've got 1 minute left, so it's probably not much time for questions or even reflections, but I'm here if anyone wants to ask one, if I have got time.
Thank you so much, Judy. We're not going to have the time for the questions, but if you guys have any, please send it through. We got the resources to get in touch with Judy. As a non-native speaker, I do need to say that I relate a lot on how we can use our bodies to reduce our frustration and lack of vocabulary. So thank you so much, Judy. It was amazing. I will now hand over to Sophie so she will wrap up for us. Thanks, everyone.